Hello, welcome to this week's assignment on your optimal health vision. This week, we're going to be clarifying who is your best self, or who are you when you're at the top of your game. I've got several exercises in this video, and then you'll, of course, follow up with a journal prompt, and we'll start clarifying what's possible for you in 5, 10, 15 years after living an optimally healthy lifestyle. All right, it all starts with a vision. Everything great, really, that's ever been invented or created has begun with an idea, a vision in the mind of the inventor. Artists, athletes, and entrepreneurs all have clear visions of the end they want to reach. Artists see the sculpture in the stone. Athletes visualize themselves making the touchdown before the game, and entrepreneurs can feel success in their bodies before they even invest. This week, you're going to learn how to begin with the end in mind. We'll focus on clarifying a detailed mental image of your best and most optimally healthiest self. But first, let's talk about the importance of vision. A vision helps you to set bigger goals than you normally would. Since a vision is a projection of what you want in the future, it allows you to break through any perceived constraints and limitations for your present situation. Stay focused. In yoga, a mantra is a silent repeated word or phrase used during meditation to help center the mind so when it wanders off, it has something to come back to. It's like an anchor. Your vision is the mantra for your life. Holding your vision in your mind will help you stay centered and focused by reminding you of why you're making the effort to change and grow. And when you inevitably fall off your wagon, get lost or distracted, your vision is your reminder to get back on track. Finally, a well-crafted vision should be motivating, not so lofty that it's intimidating, but a big enough stretch for you that you're inspired to action just by the possibility of realizing your own full potential. Creating a vision of yourself in the future may seem a little bit in contrast with the sage advice to stay present in the moment. There's a distinction between consciously creating a vision from a grounded intention and then having your mind just wander off into the future where it can get lost in a state of mindlessly planning, worrying, or daydreaming. It's a bit of a paradox, but a mindful vision is one that fully accepts and embraces where you're at now and also sees the importance of setting intentions for the future. You want to be fully committed to your vision and at the same time hold it loosely and understand it's going to likely change and evolve as you start to move toward it. So think of it as less of a place to actually get and more of a direction you're going. With this mindful attitude, you'll avoid falling into the gap between where you are now and where you think you should be. So this vision you're creating is really one of your best self. It may sound weird, but we're all made up of many selves. Part of you is motivated and part of you isn't. Part of you wants to eat clean and then another part wants to grab a burger at the drive-thru. One aspect of yourself is fully committed to living your best life, and the other part of yourself might be compulsive, complacent, or even ambivalent. The self that makes you feel most alive is your best self. And the more clearly you can hear that voice, the easier it is to act on that best self's behalf. Everyone's best self looks a little bit different, but typically it's the you that acts in alignment with your values, leverages your strengths, and is fun and fulfilling to be. Again, your best self is not some Pollyanna, pie in the sky, or pipe dream. When you think of your vision, there should be a feeling of alignment in your body, a feeling of rightness and truth. It should feel like the real you. Yeah, that's it. Positive psychologists love the best self vision, and they've scientifically proven that the strategy of writing about your best possible selves leads to measurable improvements. Subjects in their experiments reported more optimistic thoughts. They felt better equipped to solve problems and perform better on tasks of creative problem solving than the control groups. They also reported greater satisfaction with their lives, not just right away, but 3 weeks after the writing exercise. Even 5 months later, subjects who wrote about their best possible selves visited the health center significantly less than the control group. Okay, well, that all sounds great, but where do I even begin? How exactly do I know which is the best me and how to write about it? That's what this week's journal prompt is designed to do, guide you through the process of finding out. I'm going to introduce you to the following 4 exercises: the Wheel of Life, Best Self Role Model, Peak Experience, and Future Self, which will help you to mindfully collect data about your best self and gain clarity on your vision. You'll see questions about these exercises in your journal prompt and can spend this week writing about who your best possible self is and what you imagine it will take to get there. You're already familiar with the first exercise, Wheel of Life. To help clarify your vision, ask yourself, what would it take for me to have rated a 10 in each area? What does my vision of fulfillment look like in each of the above sections? If the thought of completing all 8 areas is overwhelming, you can just journal about your top 2 or 3 priority areas. The next exercise is the Best Self Role Model. Often it's difficult to see all your own latent qualities when you look at yourself, but it's easy to see them projected onto others. You can get some clues about your own best self by looking at the other people who have traits you desire. You'll have the opportunity in your journal to answer questions like, who do you admire, or who inspires you? It could be someone you know, it could be someone you don't know at all, it could be a peer or someone famous. What's important is that you can clearly identify what about this person you're attracted to. So the next question will be, what are the specific qualities of this person that you admire? Is it their charm, their wit, their dedication to a cause, or maybe their confidence? At first, you may come up with something that they do or something that they have that you admire. For example, their relationship or their house. But I challenge you to look deeper at who this person is being that inspires you. If you're inspired by their relationship, it could really be that it's because maybe of their value of commitment or communication. If it's their home that inspires, maybe what really inspires you is this person's cleanliness and attention to detail. Another way to clarify your vision is to imagine a peak experience in your life and then mine it for data. To get the most out of this exercise, you can't just quickly think about a good time. You have to really go there. You've got to feel it and recreate this experience in your mind. After that, you can analyze what it was about that time that made it such a peak. You can apply the valuable information to your vision and intentionally create more of these peak experiences throughout your life. Here's an example. If your peak experience was, say, traveling to Thailand, it doesn't mean that you have to go back to Thailand in your vision. After journaling about this experience, you might just realize that it was a sense of adventure that you'd like to have more of. Maybe it was the conversation with people you met while you were traveling. In that case, you would add adventure or deep conversation to your new vision. It should feel like you. Next exercise is the future self. Have you ever noticed that when you look up at the stars and realize how big the universe really is, your problems don't seem that important anymore? The future self exercise does the same thing. When you start to project out 5, 10, or even 15 years, the challenges of your present circumstances just don't seem that limiting. By shifting into the vision of you in 10 to 15 years from now, you can gain a whole new perspective on what's possible. You'll be prompted this week to look out further into the distance so you can start to expand your vision without the restrictions of your current situation. These exercises will all require a bit of writing, and the way you write about your vision matters. It's said that when the Native American Hopi shaman did a rain dance to pray for rain for the crops, they would dance around as if it were already raining. I like that. When you write about your future best self, do it in the present tense, as if you're already there. For example, it might sound like this. I allow relaxation time each evening to wind down before bed and effortlessly fall asleep within 15 minutes of my head hitting the pillow. Or, I do yoga 3 times a week and go with my friends to get a salad afterward. My body feels light and limber, and I'm proud when I look in the mirror. Try phrasing your vision in the positive also. Rather than writing, I'm not lazy and I avoid chocolate, write, I'm motivated and energized and choose to eat mostly all whole foods. Finally, just for fun and for ease of reference, give your best self vision a name. It could be any name that reminds you of the power of this vision. It may sound a little silly of an exercise, but it's really more powerful than you'd think. When you get stuck, tempted, or unmotivated, you can ask yourself, well, what would so-and-so do? Have fun with it. If your best self is characterized by being able to make a big comeback, you might give you the name Armstrong after the cyclist Lance Armstrong. The name you give your vision doesn't have to be after a real person, though. It can be anything, so play around until you find a name that really feels like you.